So how to increase your damage? Well, I'm about to show you how I did it in this video, and it's approximately 2 to 3 times your damage. So you might have varying results depending on where you are in your account, but I'm going to show you step by step on how I maximize my damage potential. So as you can see, I'm attacking this random camp, and I'm doing about 700 to 1000 damage. So let's see what happens once I increase my combat score. You can do that in 5 major ways. So let's take a look at my combat score. As you see, I'm a little bit under 6,000. So the first way to increase your combat score is to reach max level. The second way to increase your combat score is to upgrade your suppressor. And how you upgrade your suppressor is to get potent omnium crystals. So where do you get these crystals? The first way is to clear ruins, and the harder the difficulty, the more crystals you get. The second is story completion, and if you notice down at the bottom there's percentages, and once you reach a certain percentage in the story, you get a potent omnium crystal. Now most of you might be stuck on 70%, and how you actually get 100% is you need to do the side quests in the area. So clicking right here will reveal which side missions you need to do. Third, map exploration. Once you reach a certain percentage in an area, you will receive 2 potent omnium crystals. Fourth, we have the Wanderer's Log, and all you need to do is just reach a certain level and you will receive 2 potent omnium crystals. Fifth, join a crew, and you're able to donate daily. On top of that, you can do 4 missions weekly. And with those crew points, you can buy potent omnium crystals from the crew store. And the last way is the Bygone Phantasm. The higher you get in the Bygone Phantasm, the more potent omnium crystals you get. Now let's talk about the second way to increase your combat score. That is weapons. You'll notice right now that I have the starter weapon, nemesis weapon, and a random blue weapon. Your combat score is determined by these 3 weapons combat score. So if we look at the starter weapon, it has 51, my nemesis weapon has 3651, and the starter weapon has 28. So this is tanking my combat score. But if I were to switch this starter weapon with King's weapon, which has a 2489 combat score, look what happened. My combat score goes up. Now let's switch this weapon with Samir's, increasing my combat score once again. So now I want to talk about the rarity of the weapon. So if we scroll all the way down, let's take a look at this blue weapon. You notice that it's an R weapon and its combat score is 28. If we were to look at an SR weapon, its starting combat score is 47. Now let's look at an SSR, and its starting combat score is 272, and that's the same even for this other SSR right here. Now let's talk about star level. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch this with NA's weapon, and you notice that the starting combat score is 47. So once I use that and I click upgrade and I want to advance it, if I was to increase this combat score to a 1-star, we now have a CS of 134. So the amount of stars your weapons have also increase its combat score. So let's go ahead and switch back to King's weapon. And the last thing that you want to remember with your weapons is to fully level them up. Right now, all of my weapons are level 60. So if I was to go ahead and upgrade and make these 70, and now it's at the highest level, the only way that I can level them up again is I need to reach level 40, and then I can reach level 80. And after that, you want to increase the level of your other 2 weapons. And the third thing to increase your combat score are matrices. As you see, Nemesis has no matrices equipped, which is really hurting my combat score. So if I go and I equipped matrices, so I'm gonna fix this. Now that I've equipped the 4 matrices, my combat score has increased again. But there's also other factors that increase the CS with matrices, like its rarity. Now you'll notice, here's an SR matrice. Now the SR matrice gives me 179 CS. But if we take a look at the gold matrice, it's giving 333. That's almost double what the SR is. On top of that, you can increase the star level of your matrices. So this is an SR 2-star, and it has a CS of 298. And we saw how much a CS of 0 stars is. So again, practically double. But it gets crazier with SSRs. SSRs can go up to 3 stars. So you saw how much a 2-star does. So if you had a 3-star SSR chip, you can imagine the CS, and that's how you're seeing all those people with those crazy CS. And the next thing I want to mention is set bonuses. Now this doesn't increase your CS, but it does give you extra damage depending on what the chip set can do. So if we take a look at the Echo chipset, her 3-piece set says, when I use a discharge skill to switch to the current weapon, it grants 80 weapon charge. Now if I had a 1-star, it would be 100, and if I had 2 stars, it would be 120. So you can see how that increases my damage output. Now let's take a look at King's Matrix. One of the things that make SSR Matrix so powerful is that they have 2-piece set bonuses, so you can actually mix these up with other SSRs, whereas SRs force you to use a 3-set. His 2-set bonus is really good, especially for King or other shield breakers. When a target is shattered, it grants 8% damage boost for 25 seconds. And that's a 0-star chip. But if you 1-starred it, it goes up to 10%, 2-star 12%, and 3-star 14%. So you can see having high star level chips and having the right sets can make you do some crazy damage. And once you figured out which matrices you want to equip to your weapons and what set bonuses you want, then I would make sure that you level up your matrices to the max level. So this one currently is at 30, but I can develop it because my character is higher than 35. So I'm going to go ahead and enhance this. And now it is at 35, and I can't upgrade this again until I reach 40. So what you want to do is do that for all of your matrices on all of your weapons. And for the last thing that affects your CS, it is gear. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my backpack, go to equipment, and you'll notice that the gear that I'm currently wearing is mostly gray and green. On top of that, it is not enhanced at all. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this and put on my actual gear. Like I have a set of blue that's at 5 currently right now. So let me go ahead and do that. And you notice as I'm doing this, my CS is jumping up quite a bit. And now that I'm at this part, I want to go ahead and show why it's good to go ahead and at least enhance your gear. Because look, I have some green bracers, but I have blue bracers. And the higher the rarity is always better. So we want to go ahead and use these blue bracers. So I'm going to equip these. This also has Volt Attack, and most of my things are lightning, so it's perfect for me. So I'm going to equip this, and I'm going to choose Retain. So now my blue bracers have 5, and those green bracers don't have 5 anymore. That's why you want to constantly enhance your gear. Now that I have my regular gear equipped, currently my CS is 15,986, but we can make it go even further. We can enhance this gear. So I'm going to click on Enhance, and now that I'm high enough, I can bring these up to the next level. And if you notice, when I get this to plus 10, I get another bonus. I get plus 16 resistance. So you always want to at least enhance. So I'm gonna go ahead and enhance this. You'll notice that I'm out of booster modules and I'm out of advancement modules. But one of the best places to get these is to go to Commissary and use the Crystal Dust Store. So you get 2 of these a week. You also get these in the Bygone Phantasm, one of the reasons why you want to do it. And you get 40 of these a week. So we want to go ahead and just max that out. Now we have all that. The rest of this stuff, not worth. And one of the best things to advance is gloves. The reason why is because it has crit, and that's just going to help you do more damage. So I want to make sure I get my gloves to 10. And now I can't enhance anything else because I'm out of these advancement modules, but I would try to shoot for getting up to that plus 5 mark because it unlocks different things. So my current goal is to get all of my equipment to plus 10 going forward. Now let's talk about the random stats. Now if you click on this gear, it has a random stat section and it'll show what your current random stats are. This one gives me physical resistance and also just increases my resistance and HP. It's not too bad, but currently what I have right now is physical resistance, frost resistance, and resistance. I don't feel that I need that much HP. I got Nemesis and it generally does the job, so I wanted more resistance. So when you're looking at your gear, you want to make sure you're checking what those random stats are, because you're going to get multiple pieces of blue gear, purple gear, and then eventually gold gear. Let's talk about the advancement tab. This is how you increase your random stats. And when you advance a piece of gear, it's going to randomly select one of those random stats and increase it. Now, I don't think this is worth to do until you maybe have like some purple gear, maybe even gold gear. But if you do it on one piece, that's not too bad. Plus we have a mission in our Wanderer's Log where you need to 2-star one piece. So I chose my gloves since its random stats had crit and attack. Let's go ahead and do the gloves. We fuse, and unfortunately it went to HP. It's terrible. Now let's try again. Maybe we'll get some crits. We got attack. Not terrible, but you see how it wasn't the greatest. So we're gonna go ahead and stop at 2-star. We don't want to keep wasting our resources. And a couple honorable mentions. This doesn't necessarily increase your CS, but it will increase your damage. You have the Awaken tab, and you can give gifts to certain characters, and you can use those gifts when you're in combat to give you a bit more damage. So if you look at Samir, she grants 1 stack of concentration for every 4 seconds when you receive no damage. So every time you don't receive any damage, you get a stack increase, making you do more damage. And the last thing I want to mention are relics. Now, relics can give you some crazy damage, so having a very powerful relic like an SSR or using relics like the Mist Barrage can go a long way. So now let's look at round 2 at the camp. I did 2,000, there's 3,000, so I basically 3 times my damage. So hopefully you found this helpful, and if you did, take a look at my progression guide series, or otherwise take a look at my SSR selector guide. But other than that, talk to you guys later.